Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loads 15, and in this video we're going to be previewing the Epsom Derby, which takes place this Saturday. The final declarations have now been made and we'll be going through this year's lineup, the runners and riders, where I'll be giving you my thoughts and feelings on the race. Also as well, we'll throw in a few stats and facts and some trends as well to hopefully point you in the direction of the winner of the race, and I'll be giving you my top 3 selections at the end of this video. Also as well, before I get stuck in, I just want to mention that I've made a similar preview for the Epsom Oaks, which is now tomorrow at the time of recording, which will be Friday, so I'll give you my top 3 selections for the race in that, so go back and check it out if you haven't done so already. So without further ado, we'll start off with the video looking at the record of favourites in this race. Now favourites have a fair record in this race. They've won 3 of the last 10 renewals. Some of those have included the likes of Golden Horn, Australia and Camelot, so you can get a few favourites that do win this race, and some of those have been odds on with the likes of Camelot. He was the last odds on winning favourite to win the race back in 2012, and Aidan O'Brien's got another odds on favourite which we'll talk about in a bit. Also as well, the top trainers often come to the fore of this race. Aidan O'Brien has got a fantastic record in this race. He's won it numerous times, and I believe if he wins it this year, he'll be the joint most winning trainer of all time in the Derby. So he's obviously targeting this race this year to get that feat. Also as well, the top jockeys normally come to the fore. You've also had Frankie Dettori, Ryan Moore, Pat Smullen have all won this race. So you're obviously always going to be looking for good established jockey bookings, and that often does pay to 10 well. But last year there was an outsider you might remember with Wings of Eagles winning at 40 to 1. That was really the only outsider in the last 10 years at a massive price that has won this race. That was Paddy Beggy riding for Aidan O'Brien that day, his work rider, and it was about his 5th or 6th string on paper. So you can get the odd shock that does turn up in this race. And if we want to look at the current market favourite at the moment, it's Saxon Warrior. Now, he does have some of the best form coming into the race. He won the 1,000 Guineas at Newmarket on his seasonal reappearance, and the stable has said there's a lot more to come. But he did win the race in Post Trophy as well at Doncaster last year over a mile. So he knows how to win over a mile, but does he know how to win over a mile and 4? And he hasn't run over that distance yet, and some of the runners in this year's renewal have run over the distance, and we'll talk about them in a bit. If we look at the breeding of Saxon Warrior, something I always think is really key in these races, he actually doesn't have that much stamina in his pedigree. He is by Deep Impact, who did stay a little bit over the middle distances, but his dam was a sprinter, 6 to 7 furlong group winner, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to stay the trip. Going from a mile to a mile and 4 is quite a little bit of a big jump, and I'm not sure he's going to stay. There's going to be a bit of rain around as well, and I don't think he'll suit the soft ground if it does become soft in the end. They are expecting the drier weather on Friday and Saturday, but on Thursday at the time of recording they are expecting a lot of rain in the afternoon and going into the evening, so it'd be interesting to see what the going description is like, and I don't think he'll stay. I really don't. He does have obviously the best bits of form, he's got the trainer behind him, but I just thought he was a massively short price, and I'm going to make a statement right here right now. I don't think Saxon Warrior is going to finish in the first 3 of the Derby. I could look like a fool if that selection did come in. If Saxon Warrior goes and wins the race very comfortably, I am going to look like a fool, and you can play this back for years and years on replay saying I didn't tip Saxon Warrior and I didn't think he'll finish in the top 3, but I genuinely think he won't. And I think there's others with better form claims coming into the race. I know the 1,000 Guineas is a prolific race, but I think a mile would be his ideal trip. And I think in that race as well, there was other horses closing on him at the end, and I'm not sure if he could have another turn of foot where he would go over the mile and 4. So that's my prediction. I don't think Saxon Warrior will finish in the top 3. So what do you take him on with? Well, Roaring Lion, he did show some improvement from that Guineas run, winning at the Dante at York in good style. It was a good performance that day, but I'm not convinced he'll stay the trip, and I think there'll be better stayers in the Dante. I don't think it was a strong Dante this year at York. I think there's some other selections that are better. John Gosden has had a winner in the race before. We already mentioned with Golden Horn back in 2015. Also as well, I don't think he's really suitable for the trip. I think he's better over a mile. He's had a few problems. He didn't run very well in the Craven. He ran okay in the Race and Post Trophy against Saxon Warrior, but again, in his breeding, he doesn't have stayers in his pedigree, and I think he'll get found out going around Epsom. I don't think he'll like the track as well. Also as well, other horses to mention that I think have got a very good chance, so the ones that I would be looking for would be Young Rascal. I think Young Rascal's got a fantastic chance. William Haggis has won the race before a bit of a while ago now, back in 1996, but he's never had many runners in the Derby, and he wouldn't send them down to the Epsom course if he didn't think they had a really good chance. He's got a fair record in this race. He's had a winner and a third from his 3 runners, so he often knows what he's doing. Also as well, Young Rascal's got a fantastic bit of form. It won the Chester Vase at the Chester meeting earlier this month in good style, and he had a few problems that day, a few traffic problems, and he ran on really well at the end, and it was a really impressive performance by Young Rascal. Dee Ex Bee finished second in that race, and them two were drawing clear away from the rest of the field, and I think even if the ground goes soft, Young Rascal could definitely handle the conditions. He ran on heavy ground on his first ever appearance on a racecourse at Nottingham behind William Haggis' other good horse, Lord and Master. Joe Fanning was aboard that day, and he said after that run that Young Rascal really needed it, and after that run Young Rascal would always be finishing ahead of Lord and Master, so they've always fought a lot of this horse, and I thought he was definitely a massive strong each way bet still at 9-1, and he would probably be my number 1 selection. What else could you be backing in this race? You've got Dermot World's horse, Harazapur, for Frankie Dettori and Dermot World. This horse won really nicely over in Ireland at the Derristown, where Delano Roosevelt is also running in this race, finished second in that race, and that form's been boosted recently with Size and Platinum winning at the car at the weekend, so that form looks not too bad. I thought Delano Roosevelt was running on quite strongly at the end, and out of all the Aidan O'Brien runners, I think he would be in my top 3. Also as well, I thought Night to Behold was really impressive in the Lingfield Derby trial. The way that he commanded the race from the front, kicked on and won very convincingly in the end under Richard Kingscote, under a hands and heels ride pretty much, was only asked for an effort once or twice by the whip and really responded. Kew Gardens did lose a shoe in running that day, is going to reoppose, but I don't think he'll reoppose the form. I don't think he'll overturn it. Also as well, if the ground does get soft, I thought Savannah Star could be really good. I thought Savannah Star, yes, it wasn't amazing last time at Sandown when he won, and the form hasn't worked out since, but if the ground goes softer, he's the out and out stayer. The stayers are in his pedigree, and I thought he could maybe outrun his odds at a massive price. Not so keen on Massa, don't think he will quite stay the trip. I think probably a mile to a mile and a quarter would be his ideal trip. Don't think he'll last home. But for me, my top 3 for this race would be Young Rascal number 1, Delano Roosevelt number 2, and Dee Ex Bee, which is a previous course winner, in my 3rd place, which would be trained by Mark Johnston, and Sylvester de Souza is booked for the ride. So Young Rascal for me, I think he's got similar form claims like last year with Wings of Eagles winning the Chester Vase, and Delano Roosevelt I think will be the Aidan O'Brien improver, and I think Saxon Warrior will be somewhere in the midfield, and I think he'll be tired coming towards the end of this race, and I think there'll be other stronger stayers staying on at the end, which you need to do to win the Derby. So they would be my top 3: Young Rascal, Delano Roosevelt, and Dee Ex Bee. A little bit of controversy, I know, not going with Saxon Warrior. That's what I think the Derby will be this year. So let us know your Derby predictions. Do you think Saxon Warrior will win this year's renewal, or is there a surprise waiting to come out the woodwork? I'd like to know what you guys have to say on the Derby. So for more horse racing betting videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel here at Lucky Loaders 15. You can also follow me on Twitter under the same name, Lucky Loaders 15. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.